Gonna be live in 1 second. Letting the community know they're all very excited, Mark. Okay. I have to remember in the background to silence or hit pause on YouTube because that's what happened last time, is it just started playing in the background. Okay, we are good to go. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Already a couple people flowing in here, streaming live on YouTube with the one and only Mark Cuban. Mark, how you doing?
What's up, Jeremy? I'm doing great.
Good, good. And as always, here joined here by Mr. Paul Jenkins. For those of you who don't know Paul, pretty much created every superhero that you grew up with, whether it's, you know, Wolverine Origins, Incredible Hulk, my daughter's favorite, God of War, Civil War, you name it, he's done it. And he's helping us bring a pack punch to the NFT space. So thanks for joining us. This is NFT Sessions, a podcast where we're talking about, you know, and meeting with creators. So people that are in the space creating NFTs, that are leading the charge, they're innovators, and they're trying to set the groundwork for what ultimately will become, in my opinion, one of the biggest industries in history. So with that said, Mark, let's get into it. I mean, you're in this space, you're getting in a big way, you're creating your own stuff. I mean, just tell us about your journey into NFTs and like how you see this thing playing out.
I mean, I've been a tech geek forever. And so anytime something new comes along, I try to learn about it and experience it. And that's what happened with NFTs. I've been involved in crypto and kept up to date with crypto and as an asset store of value. But as I started seeing more and more people talk about NFTs and DeFi, I had to dig in, and that's really what got me into it. And I decided I was going to mint something thinking, okay, I'll put $1 value on it and I'll try to sell it. No one's going to want any shit from me. And then bam, it just took off. And then, you know, I had set a royalty percentage, and then bam, I'm just getting these royalties paid to me continuously. And I'm like, okay, I missed the boat here before. I'm not gonna stay off the boat. I'm gonna get back on it.
Yeah, Mark, you're a tech guy, and I think I read an interview with you recently in which you sort of said, you know, you got this background in tech, and almost you expressed a regret that you hadn't got into this quicker. Tell us a little bit about that, because I think that's an important thing. You know, like you kind of awoke to this. Do you really have a genuine regret, or do you think that now's a time where everything's opening up anyway? So
well, now everything's opening up anyways, but I wish I was in sooner for obvious reasons. The economics have changed considerably over the last 6 months. But yeah, I mean, I take pride in being in front of different technologies, and I understood it all, and I had a general awareness. But I never really dug in and played with smart contracts, never dug in and played with Solidity, you know, never dug in and really looked at the differences between layer 1, 2, 3, 4. And so I was, you know, when I talked to people about it, I wasn't as accurate as I should have been. And so I kind of missed the boat on that side of it. But, you know, sometimes you realize you made a mistake and you try to catch up, and that's what I've done.
Yeah, and it makes a lot of sense that you get to catch up now, right? I think this is an interesting thing from any of us, whether it be us on NFT Genius or yourself. If you could tell people that were uninformed about NFTs, what would you say about them to sell it to them?
It's just a digital collectible that you can collect like anything else. You know, it's something that, you know, you have all kinds of digital assets that you value already. Just look on your phone. Just talk to anybody who has to delete a picture from their phone because they're out of hard disk storage space, right? I mean, we value digital things, and the only difference here is instead of just having personal value, it's something that can be of value to multiple people, and that's what an NFT is. And if you find something that's of value to multiple people, and you own the rights to it, you can sell it. And if it's something you create, you're a creator. Doesn't have to be art, doesn't have to be music. It could be a white paper. It could be, you know, a study guide. It could be anything that can be digitized, and you can turn it into a collectible.
Yeah, and you think that the value is to some extent in the verification process of NFTs and blockchain, you know, where is it just that you can verify something, or do you think the value is stored in, you know, the creativity that you can express in digital?
Well, the value is in the creativity and the intellectual property itself, but the ability to verify is what allows it to become an efficient marketplace.
Right.
Yeah, no, good point. I mean, we're seeing obviously in any industry, especially with NFTs, there's going to be peaks and troughs. Obviously, things are going crazy, but we're already seeing a little bit of a a recalibration or a reset to an extent, right? It used to be to where, any artist can go on Nifty Gateway and just print millions of bucks, right? There was a few week period where that was the case. And then now that's not necessarily the case. And
Right.
now it's almost about the not only just the quality, but the inherent user base that somebody brings to the table that decides whether it's going to be a home run or not, right?
Right.
We have Sophia, the robots, putting out the first NFT today. So that's going to be a really interesting one. But it's good because it's forcing people to be more creative in their approach. And this is where like things like Bitcoin Origins and things Paul and I do is we led with story first, which I think that's really important. And I think that's something that in our early conversations I'd attract to do as well. So how do you kind of see that playing out in terms of how it's going to challenge different industries? We're seeing music come into the space. We're seeing traditional artists. But I mean, how is that challenging people and even businesses as you see it kind of trying to come into the space and how they need to evolve?
Well, it's no different than books or music selling right now, right? Anybody can publish a book. Anybody can create a song. The barriers to entry are non-existent. The long tail is really, really, really long, but that doesn't mean there's value. And there's different ways to create value. Some things are just obvious. Some things are kismet and lucky, and some things you already have a fan base and you come up with new ways as an artist to reach that fan base. There's a reason why studios do a ton of remakes, and why creating original movies is a lot more difficult. There's a reason why, low budget films just have a harder time breaking through. The long tail is really long. And so NFTs are no different. And, what's happening that's different in terms of the money is that there are more new collectors than there have been for other things, right? So if you just sell a book, if you just sell a song, or you try to get someone to listen to it on Spotify or Pandora, you have to have followers. There's not really a market for collectors. Whereas in this marketplace now, there truly are collectors that are coming in and for their own reasons finding things. It may be by the name of celebrity, the artist, the musician, and that creates value. It may be that it's just fun and different, like the Punk series and Sophia the Robot and Virtual Humans. There's a lot of different reasons, but the collector base is, so in addition to the consumption of the creative aspect of it, where people, just buy it because they like it, there's the, I wouldn't say investment necessarily, but there's a part of it that's investment and monetization that is in addition to what you see in other creative markets. And maybe with the exception maybe of art, because you can make the argument that high-end art is a store of value, and people buy them and sell them expecting them to appreciate. And so you've got a legion of art collectors at the high end that spend a boatload of money. I mean, it's crazy how much money gets spent on individual properties. And you're starting to see that come in here because there's a lot less barriers to entry to be a collector or an investor than there are. It's a lot more difficult to go to a high-end art high-end art sale or gallery sale or auction than it is to go and buy a Bitcoin Origin, and just buy it on Wax or buy it on your website.
Yeah. Do you think that a part of the rise, because I mean, we're in a moment where NFTs are exploding, and of course, it may seem like a fad, but one thing that I think is important about NFTs and all of that is that there's longevity there. That there's actually some substance behind it. Yep. But assuming that it dies down, the furor surrounding it, do you think that it then opens itself up for accessibility to things like television? You're in that business. Will there be like streaming content that comes out on NFTs? Will there be interactive games and stuff like that?
Anything, bits are bits. They don't care where they are and where they go or how you consume them, right? Bits are just bits. And then it just comes down to the economics. There's people who try to stream using protocols, NFT type protocols, but effectively they're trying to take bandwidth from, unused bandwidth at people's homes. And you still have the issue of what your internet provider says about that, right? There's terms of service issues for reselling the bandwidth that you're buying from your ISP, Comcast or whoever, right? And so I think streaming is going to be a lot more difficult the way things are right now. But just generally, anything else that's digital, we all pay for our own bandwidth, and that's fair, and we're able to consume them as much as we want. When you buy an NFT, you can put it on your phone, you can do a printout of it, whatever you want, you have that right. And you can resell the NFT. So I think there's a lot of fungibility, even though they're called non-fungible tokens, that it's very fungible in how you can use an NFT. And I think, that is going to make the market really long-term, as you said, and will continue to grow because we'll come up with new forms of intellectual property. We'll come up with new things. It could be, cliff notes for, high school and college kids. You buy your cliff notes as an NFT, you're done with them, you sell them to somebody else who's taking the class next semester. There's just going to be a lot of new opportunities.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, just from my perspective, a lot of the work that I've done, especially in game design. So, I was around about mid-90s. I started off with Ninja Turtles and I kind of worked there for a long time. And then I got into game design, even though I was working in the comic space. And what we were trying to innovate in was storytelling through game. So a lot of the times they said, this is what you can't do. And to me, you give me the limitations and now I can do it, right?
Right, of course.
So you take all the limitations and you learn what they are. So we worked a lot on the innovation of story and how it would work and what kind of, and it paved the way for games that were very story driven now. So if you look at NFTs, I look at them as a tremendous opportunity. No one really knows how to tell a story, but of course we're learning how to tell stories with it.
Right.
But at some point, there's going to be a form of art that develops.
Absolutely.
A mixture of story and it could be video content. Anything, as you say, that's digital is bits. And so as long as we can deliver it, we can do all kinds of things. Have you had any of your moments of genius yet where you suddenly said, wow, we should do this? You got anything, or are you not willing to share it yet?
No, it's not even that. I mean, I'm a business guy, right? I mean, I put my Shark Tank hat on and I can look at every single company and say, this is how blockchain and NFTs and smart contracts can really create revenue and make you more efficient. And so that's kind of the angle I take. But I agree with you on storytelling and creating new forms of entertainment, particularly because it's decentralized. And I think that'll make a big difference because right now, I think people are really tired of publishers, and publishers put themselves on a pedestal and put their economics, too high on the food chain for a lot of their customers. And so I think the decentralized nature of NFTs and the ability to have governance included in storytelling. Back in the day, there were companies that tried to do movies where they put up all kinds of technology into a theater and tried to let people pick the ending. Or you have alternate endings on a DVD. There's going to be different ways to have alternate endings for stories that you tell or that are created by synchronizing different things together from disparate people. We've seen fan fiction and how well it works with groups. You'll see the equivalent of fan fiction put together via governance and published as a book or published as a comic book or published as a video where here's the scene, here's the script, everybody produce, you got to buy a $10, you got to buy a $1 token. And then, on this non-Ethereum blockchain, you mint it and save it. And then we're all going to vote on the sequence in which, for this scene, which one we choose and yada, 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 right? And so now all of a sudden you have new forms of entertainment that people are bought in on. It's comparable to fan fiction, but, just taking advantage of the medium.
Yeah, we're going to have some hopefully offline great conversations about that because I've got 1,000 ideas of how.
I bet.
The things that we don't know. That's the stuff that excites me personally. I'm not worried about what we don't know yet. I'm excited about what we don't know.
Oh, that's where the opportunity is, right? That's where you mess things up, right, and change the game.
That's right.
If you do what you've already done, you get what you already got.
Yep. I totally agree. So, I mean, I think the idea, that's probably a lot in your profile, isn't it? I mean, you've done that quite a lot, which is to take the things that you don't know and learn how to do those. Because every time someone says to me, you can't do something, my answer is that means you can't do it.
Yeah, well, exactly right. It's exactly right. And that's the thing, right? You mentioned the key word, learn. Most people don't put in the time to learn. And when some people, see a roadblock, that's just it. It's done. See ya. I go back to work and that's it. Entrepreneurs, visionaries, they'll go out there and say, okay, the only certainty that I can confirm is that the technology is going to keep on advancing and changing. And as long as I stay up on it and put in the effort to learn how to leverage it, either the technology catches up to what do I want to accomplish, or I find a new way to mix and match. Steve Jobs said everything's a remix, right? The Apple, there was not much new about Apple at all. You know, he took a lot of it from Xerox Park and AT&T Bell Labs, but he mixed them together in a way that nobody else had that was a lot better. And sometimes that's what it is. But as long as you keep on learning, there's always going to be new opportunities to be creative.
Perfect. Yeah.
It's so true. So Mark, let's get into you know, your love and affinity for the NFT space in terms of what you like, right? So what's that site? I know you have a site that actually shows your wallet. It's lazy something.
Oh yeah, lazy.com. Yeah. So if you go to
lazy.com,
yeah, just go to lazy.com and mcuban, lazy.com/mcuban, and you'll see one of my wallets. And actually you can flip between two wallets. And the whole idea is that if you have something in your wallet and you want to make it easy to show, you just sign up at lazy.com. It's the lazy way to do it. I came up with it a week ago. You know, one of the guys in our staff and I put it together, and we've had, I think in the 6 days so far that it's been out there, 60,000, and that's before today, 60,000 users. And it's crazy, right?
That's crazy.
And you can just see it's so simple. All you do is sign up, connect your wallet, and it gives you a URL for your username, and you're done.
Did you, are these
now, is this like ERC 721 only, or, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, there's 1155s and 721s. And a lot of these aren't things that, the ones that I pinned are ones that for the most part I bought. The Wrap Mooncat someone sent to me. All the other ones are.
I was asking Mark if
those Mooncats, I'm telling you, those are a thing.
Are they your comments at the base there? Do you actually get to comment on the site? So you actually comment, you know, the best Mooncat and all that?
Yeah, so if you do a pinned one, you can put the comment in. We just added that feature today.
Great.
So because I had so many of them that people sent me, and a lot of them were junk, we added pinning, and then so I'm the one who put in the best Mooncat of all the Mooncats, yeah. And then the other ones that are under all, you can see, and if you click on wallet, go back up. And see what's this wallet one? Go down some. Go down some.
Okay.
Underneath the pin one. Wait,
underneath the pin one. Oh, here it is. Wallet one.
Yeah.
Okay. And then go to wallet two.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like there's anything in wallet two.
Okay, maybe that's not working yet. Okay. It might have just been slower. Give it a second.
Probably.
Yeah, so, you know, the new features we're adding every day, but yeah, so I just had some that when I first started, they were in a different wallet. So we made it so you can pick either wallet.
That's cool.
But all this is in a couple of days.
That's good. This is really crazy. And this is really useful because this is one of the things that we said early on is that part of the problem with NFTs is that you want to show off what you have, but there's no really good
and the beauty of this is
like we messed around with it.
Yeah, the beauty of this is, and you know, sometimes IPFS is slow or whatever because we're on Zoom, but you know, I could put it in my Instagram profile. I could put it in my Twitter profile. I could put it at the bottom of my emails in my my response, and so it just makes it so easy.
Yeah. Oh, this is great. So what projects get you really excited outside of ours?
I mean, we're getting ready to do Mav Punks. And so Mav Punks.
Yeah.
And so we're going to do punks of all the Mavericks players and me and put that out there. And so hopefully you guys will be able to help me out because my challenge is, you know, I've done things where I've put things out and sold them. I've auctioned things, but building all the hype for a drop is an art form. And so trying to figure out how and where to do all that is something I'm still trying to learn.
I think it leads to...
We're happy to help with it.
I know. And we'll be talking about it.
I think it leads to an approach that you take with anything, right? Which is if you're going to make a story or if you're going to do a project, you say, why? Why does it deserve to live? You know, tell me why. And as long as you know why it deserves, you know, it could be like, oh, because the Mavs need branding, or, oh, because this is really cool and everybody needs one.
Yeah, because it's fun.
Once you know why, you can make it. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we want it to be fun. Obviously, it's a hot area, and we've got a ton of Mavs fans, and our players have fans who are just going to love having these. You know, so it's about doing something fun.
Yeah. When you look at the potential, let's take that project for a second, and you think about the potential of things that you could do. Is it, you know, can you show the life of the players to some extent? You know, things that they are interested in. Can you show?
Oh, of course.
Their best moves. You know, the skill that they have on the court and all of those kind of things.
Absolutely.
a window to all of the things that make the Mavs, right?
Right. And so the NBA owns the rights to what they do on the court and to all the logos. But lifestyle, off the court, Mav Punks, right? That stuff we can do. And we want to, with Mav Punks, we want to demonstrate to them that there's demand for this stuff with them, right? And then we'll let them do their own lifestyle type stuff where they take pictures from their own lives and either auction them off, sell them off, or effectively build their fan base of those things.
I don't want to give the game away,
you think about it. Oh, go ahead.
That works really well is to give a window, right? So what if an NFT was a window to a thing? So each NFT updates and changes from time to time. Even that has value because it's almost like
changes is in that the NFT itself changes based off of data in the smart contract, or
absolutely,
yeah. So I know with some of the GANs and some of the music and stuff like that, they've been able to do that. We've just got to figure out how that works. That's actually a good idea.
Yeah.
So you take an oracle of, say, points on the court, and every time they score more or score less, the NFT itself changes based off of that. That's a pretty cool idea.
Yeah. We actually have the ability to do that. And we have the connection. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's talk about that for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
Cool. So what are the hottest projects for you? I mean, obviously you have like Chubbies.
That's it right now.
Like that.
That's what people send me. People sent me the Chubbies. I didn't go out there and buy it.
Okay, so they sent you all this stuff.
Yeah,
but which ones are you like super excited about? You talked about Euler Beats. It was like one of the coolest projects.
Yeah, Euler Beats is really cool. I like things on Bond Curve, right? I mean, there's just so many things right now. It's really trying to figure out what I'm going to do with the Mavs is what's really got me focused. Working with you guys at Nifty, and so it's just there's just so many things. It's not like, okay, this is the one thing I have to do. It's like it's just nonstop, and so just trying to figure out how to do it right is the hard part.
Yeah. Well, you're alluding to working with us. We don't say anything, so I mean, you feel free if you want to say anything out loud about that, you can.
Oh yeah, of course. Obviously, I invested in you guys, and so I want to work with you guys, and I want to do, try to figure out a great way to do this Mavs drop with you guys.
Yeah, for sure. No, we're really excited to have Mark on board. Mark's brought some other people that we'll announce coming up here shortly. Obviously, we're getting into the music space as well. We've been vocal about that to an extent. But yeah, we see the future of music being really exciting in the NFT space. There's just so much you can do. There's so many cool things that people are trying and innovating right now. And like you can't lose, you can't fail. And even if you fail on a small level, we're learning and we're bringing up the entire industry together. So it's really cool.
Yeah, making notes on that idea that Paul had.
Yeah, well,
hey, Paul's got a lot of them and never ending ideas. It's like a fountain.
Yeah, we've obviously ideated a little bit on the Mavs thing because of our association with you. So we'll talk to you soon about like some of the other ideas that fit into that. But I think that it speaks to my feeling on this, which is that you are on point saying this is digital information. So whatever we can do with digital information is what we can do is what we can deliver. Now, the problem that you face, and I face this especially in the early days of my work in game design, is the limitations, right? Like, what can you not do? But ultimately, as we develop, we're going to be programming different things like updatable stats, and we're going to be programming, someone hits a home run and it shows up on your NFT. I
don't take you as a baseball fan, Paul.
Actually, you'd be surprised, right? Now, I'm about to upset you. Obviously, I'm a Crystal Palace fan. I'm a football fan, right?
I'm a rugby guy. I'm a rugby guy.
Okay. I'm Welsh by descent, so
Gotta be, yeah.
We're doing great. But unfortunately, I'm a bit. I think hand me a basketball and I'll probably trip over it.
That's okay. That's okay. So would I.
Yeah.
And let me ask you a question. You guys, speaking this through, can an NFT, can a smart contract on an NFT spawn another NFT? In other words,
so I have a really easy answer from this. And I actually got this from William Quigley, who is the CEO of Wax. And what he said was, you have to look at NFTs like they're mini supercomputers. You literally can program them to do whatever you want. So I've asked the same question as you, and the answer is yes. And so I asked this to Kurt, our CTO, like any question, he always says it's possible.
Right. You would call another function that in turn would mint, correct?
It would mint, and then it would just basically deliver it to whatever wallet address was associated to that. Yeah.
Yeah. So
we can talk about plans we have around that too.
If you think of the possibilities, think of it like game design, in my opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
If you go back to original game design and early game design, a lot of times they would say, well, how do I create a story out of game? And for one thing, you're defining story too narrowly, because story is really the engineering of somebody else's emotions. As long as you can make them go up and down and up and down, you're telling a story. And the question was, well, how will I do the logic of it? How will I get someone to go here first in a game and then here, especially if I let them roam freely? And the answer is, write stories where you don't have to go to one place first, second, or third. You can go to any of them, as long as you have to do all three, and that funnels you to this next place. And at that point, you're controlling the story.
Yeah, and that's what changed the gaming industry right there.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And so, when we were thinking of how to innovate like that and how to tell stories like that, it speaks to NFTs, right? The question is immaterial. Like, the answer is yes. What's the question? As long as it can be done with digital information. So what's the limitation? Well, it's going to be things like, how much money do you spend on it? And why would you spend $150,000 on something that can only sell for like 10 grand? You're not going to do that, right?
Right.
And so we run into this with digital readers. I have a huge desire to want to tell stories using like custom readers where you can interact with stuff like that. Problem is, you got to program it all individually every time, and you can't do it. It's just not cost effective. So it's really a matter of working out how this business will go. And I think
Apple thought they had a whole business in the education business, right? Doing those, 10 years ago or whatever it was.
Yeah. And it's largely because they didn't actually think very carefully about how to design it properly. If you could have taken the opportunities into consideration and the things that could go wrong and all of that, if you're prepped, then I think you can deliver it. But if you're not very well prepared and you just start putting it out, you're going to find out the obstacles.
Yeah, that applies to anything, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I think for say the Mavs project, I really think that there's so many opportunities of things that you could do that are to do with lifestyle. But it's like, realistically, and this is probably my naivety because I don't know enough about basketball. Do the players go, yeah, this is amazing, or like, I can't be bothered? I've got
right now in season they can't be bothered, but they see there's money there, so they want to be bothered.
Right.
Hey, so guys, we actually have to wrap up here in just a few minutes, but before we do, Bitcoin Origins community has some questions for you, so I wanted to read a few here. All right, so let's see here. The first one is, what security hurdles do you see NFTs facing in the short term, like via exploits, attacks, etc.?
I think every business has those security issues. They're not unique to NFTs at all.
Okay, very good. What are your thoughts on, we're going to do two. The first one's going to be, what are your thoughts on Top Shot? And then the second one is, what are your thoughts on Wax? So I'll give you two.
Top Shot's great. I mean, the beauty of Top Shot is, one, they're dealing with the NBA, so that makes me money. So I like that. Two,
fair enough.
They make onboarding easier than anybody. It's just like, you and I have talked about this, Jeremy. Buying a Top Shot is like buying a pair of socks on Amazon. You put in your credit card, you get it, and that's all you have to think about. Now, there's challenges, obviously, getting your money out because they do the KYC after the fact. But they've introduced NFTs, via Moments to hundreds of thousands of people that otherwise would not have participated, and that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, no, for sure. I love Top Shot. I got in pretty early in the beta. I got really lucky, and then it just blew up. And I was like, wait, I think I have a bunch of cards. And I went back and I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, and then you asked me about Wax. Yeah, you asked me about Wax. I think Wax is a good platform. I've got some things in my wallet there. It's got a very specific look and feel to it. And I think on one hand, that's very engaging and it's very comfortable for people who are in that world, right? That feel most comfortable there, but it's also very limiting. And so, I think they've got some work to do in terms of platforming other applications. And I know we're talking to them and working with them, but, fundamentally as a blockchain, it's great. They've got really smart people behind them. They've got really smart people working on their, when you go to cryptoslam.io, you see, that NFTs are selling well, and so, you got Flow, you got Ethereum, and you've got Wax, and those are really the only games in town right now. And so I give them a ton of credit. The challenge now is that, okay, who can scale with that? And right now, Flow has got their area, and they're trying to pay people to come to their blockchain. And then you've got Ethereum, which is Ethereum, and then you've got Wax. And if Wax is aggressive, I think they have a really good opportunity.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, they're working with some of the biggest IP in the world, and they haven't even announced like half the people they're working with. So it's really incredible. And as we're seeing these independent experiences that kind of rise above, kind of like Top Shot, you come on Top Shot, you don't necessarily even know that you're using Flow, right? You don't
and
know
that's the whole thing, right? Yeah,
exactly. So
you're just there to collect, be a basketball fan, whatever it may be. And That's
Yeah.
the way all the experiences should be.
Yeah, no, totally agree. Do you have any other like wax collections that you like? I know Street Fighter just released, or like you collecting anything else outside of Bitcoin Origins?
Yeah,
No.
just the Bitcoin Origin stuff. And I have one other one that I forget, an adaptable. I forget. It's an avatar thing and I forget exactly what it is.
Oh, okay. Nice, nice. Well, that's pretty much all the questions from the community. Mark, I know you have a busy day. We really appreciate the time. Like, any final thoughts or anything?
No, I mean,
I'm excited to be
I'm excited to be partnered with you guys. Paul's a legend, and Jeremy's becoming a legend. So it's exciting to do all these things. And Paul, thank you for the idea, because that whole idea of a real-time delivery of stats to a sports NFT, and then it being able to spawn off something else, that's a keeper. That's definitely a keeper.
I hope that we get 5 minutes of your time after we stop going live.
For sure. We can definitely talk about it. Let's stay on.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Thanks, everybody. Really appreciate you guys joining NFT Sessions. Until next week, we'll see you soon.